Well, I think I am live. This is my first ever live stream, so hello there, everyone. I just thought I'd try something a little bit different. I've never done a live stream. Try and use a few of the new YouTube, well, not new, these aren't new at all, but try some new YouTube features out there. Anyway, so I thought, if you guys noticed the other day, about 11 of you did, not very many. But I did a poll to see which stocks that I cover sort of regularly did people want to see me cover again. So one of the ones that came second on that list was Camber Energy. XELA Technologies topped that list, but I put out a video over the weekend on XELA Technology, so I thought maybe I'd dedicate a live stream or a trial live stream to looking at Camber Energy. I have to apologise. I've just put the baby to bed, so she might be a little bit unsettled. If she screams out, you'll see it, or you'll probably hear it, and maybe you'll see it. Who knows? We'll see. Anyway, you never know what's going to happen on live TV. Anyway, so talk about Camber Energy. I don't want to distract too much from it. So many oil stocks have actually been going really well. While we're in a bit of a bear market generally for stocks, oil companies are doing really well, obviously because the price of oil has been going up. Now, CEI stock, or Camber Energy, has bucked that trend and in the last month has given up about 20% of its value. And if you just compare it to a couple of competitors, so like look at Chevron Energy. So they are, for the last month, Chevron is at $175.40, which is up $7.53 per share, or 4.5%. And if we go to ExxonMobil, they're currently at $100.46 per share, and that represents 13.05% higher, or $11.60, and that's over the past month. So if I flip over to Camber Energy, for the last month, they are at 54 cents per share, which is 14 cents down from where they were a month ago, and that is 20.6%. Okay, so it's quite a bit off. I know if we go a little bit further back in time, we can see some higher prices. I'll talk about that in a little while. But obviously, Camber Energy and Chevron and that, they are very sort of different companies, very big. Okay, and obviously the nature of what they do is very different to Camber Energy in terms of Camber Energy purely pumps oil and sells it on to other companies, whereas these companies have front to back operations where they even like distribute it, refine it and sell it. So there's a lot more going on with those companies, but still they are all affected by the oil price, which is pushing up towards its record high, which is set at the start of the Russia-Ukraine crisis of $128 per barrel. Yet Camber Energy has still gone backwards. So I guess what I'm focusing on this video is, why has Camber Energy bucked this trend? So I guess to start with, we can talk about like the recent rally that started when the Russia-Ukraine crisis kicked off, and Camber Energy shot up to $1.80 per stock. It was, I think, about the highest it hit in that period. It didn't last long. It just started to descend down, and it kind of sort of balanced out around the $1 to 90 cent market, and it's just slowly been sliding down to 54 cents. And I saw on Friday in the aftermarket, it even gave up a further 2 cents. So it's at 52 cents per share. So it hasn't been doing really well. Now, the rise to $1.80, I think, was very much because of, Camber Energy had a lot of retail interest in it over the last 12 months, and it was subjected to a few short squeeze attempts. So it's always in the back minds of a lot of retail investors, and there's a lot of retail investors who are probably stuck holding the stock at those much higher times. I think it got to about $4.50 or something at the peak of its short squeeze attempts. So there's always going to be that strong retail interest in it, and they're never too afraid to try and pump one of these stocks up too. And when the Russia-Ukraine crisis kicked off, it had a fairly decent short interest. I think it was something like 20% or 22% short interest. And I had Fintel open before. I'll just open that up again and just see. Yeah, I still got it open. Yeah, so Fintel right now, the short interest in Camber Energy is 6.76%. They have an off-exchange short ratio, or dark short ratio, of 53.17%, which is really high, but I don't worry too much about that because it's not something that affects the on-market trading too much, at least what I think anyway. But 6.76%, that's reasonably low for a shorted stock. Basically anything above 10% is considered highly shorted, and Camber Energy at 6.76% is not highly shorted anymore. And I think part of the reason why that is the way it is now is because the price has come right down. Still, there's 0.65 days to cover. So, if there was to be a bit of a rally, those shorts would need to start covering before they incur the borrow fee, which currently sits at 15.05%. So it's not high, but so there would be some pressure on shorts to cover if that was to occur. So I think the fact that the short interest is really low means that the people who would normally go short on the stock are banking on, Camber Energy probably not going down too much further. And part of the reason is obviously because oil prices are really high, and I think we'll probably start to see some of the effects of the higher margins that oil companies are making come through in results in the next month or so. I'm not actually sure when Camber's next set of results are due out, but I know they've got a bit of a sketchy record with publishing them, but I think that's going to be something that short sellers are a bit wary of. The fact that, well, if they suddenly post like a modest profit, the retail interest is going to probably go a little bit crazy over Camber Energy just because they've got that legacy of being really into the stock. Anyway, one other thing, I was sort of digging around a little bit, and I saw this NASDAQ article. It's a republished article in the NASDAQ, and it's about Camber Energy, and it was published over the weekend. It's somewhat bullish, I suppose. It's titled, I'll link it in the description later on, but Camber Energy Stock is still an interesting high. Is why it is a bit of a retail. Stocks have been suppressed quite a bit over recent history of the last 10 years probably, but now the value of them starting to come out again because we're seeing how much oil is still important to the world economy. But Camber, obviously, because they have that oil business, which actually isn't a very good business, it's not very profitable for them, they had started investing in a lot of sort of alternative energy solutions, which I think a lot of, retailers quite like. They kind of like those green futuristic sort of moving companies. And a lot of the big oil companies are investing in going green as well. Anyway, so I just skimmed, I should have probably tried to highlight it a little bit more in a cover, but there was a couple of things it was saying. So basically it's saying, with interest in both old school and new school energy, Camber is in a unique position. It has exposure to any continued rise in oil prices, plus there's the upside potential from progress with its green wave ventures. We all sort of know this, it's not telling us anything new. It was one thing that was quite interesting, is I actually wasn't that aware of the other sort of green issues. I only kind of knew about their carbon capture business. I don't know how well other people know the other sort of initiatives, but they have a few other things. So I'll just a little bit here. So how Viking, which is like where they get, that's the main business is. Camber Energy is like a holding company, and Viking Energy is like the main holding that they have. So Viking, who do most of the work and are their own listed company, has repositioned itself as a diversified clean energy and power solutions provider, mostly through its Canada-based Simon Maxwell unit, although its legacy business is in power solution products. The company is looking to use it as a vehicle to commercialize carbon capture technology. It is licensed from a third party, and that's not all. The company has moved into other innovative areas, for example, medical waste ozone technology, as well as open conductor detection technologies. I have heard about the open conductor technology stuff before. I wasn't aware of the medical waste ozone technology, which sounds a bit out there. Thanks to a financial deal from earlier this year, Camber has plenty of cash to pursue some opportunities as they crop up. So basically, the article sort of goes on to talk about how it's kind of a high risk, high reward sort of setting. But the article is quite bullish in the sense that it's saying that they're putting their fingers into a lot of sort of futuristic green energy plays, and it's obviously a high risk, high return stock. And if one of these technologies proves to be quite useful and well picked up, I think that's where you're going to really see a bit of upshot from Camber Energy. Also, sort of the other thing it does mention in there too is that, like, the other thing going for Camber Energy is that the oil prices are still probably not even at their peak yet. They sort of talked about areas. Analysts at Goldman Sachs have recently argued that oil could hit $140 per barrel. So it's about 116 now. The start of the Russia-Ukraine crisis, it peaked at 128. So, it's still a fair bit of upside there that Camber/Viking Energy could see flow through to their business. All right. Oh, I've got my first comment on here. Doors. Hey, man. Hey, Doors. Doors are great. They open up new opportunities. I don't know, I'm trying to be a bit deep there. Is Exela going to recover? Oh, tough one. I think as a company they're going to be around for a while to come, but their share price is, I guess, not not great. I think that, like, it's not a company that's going to fold anytime soon. You had another comment. I missed what it said though. I don't know how to. I'm not very good at this. Sorry, you put another comment. It came up in my on the live stream. But can I see it? Maybe if I do that. No. Oh no, sorry. No, okay, cool. Yeah, no, I worked out. This is all new to me. I can see your comment now. Yeah, no, all good. Yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions about any sort of stocks. I just thought I'd do a video on Camber Energy. I did do an update on XELA Technologies. I'm kind of, I've sort of said I've got the preference shares primarily, and yeah, I like the preference shares because it's kind of a, recurring income, and it's, if you buy into them now, the yield is ridiculous. Like, they're about to pay a 46-cent dividend for a month and a half. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. But I think that they're going to be okay, especially if they get their sales going. Anyway, so back to it. XLRP, they're the preference shares. I heard some people actually say that not every brokerage service has access to it, which is a bit disappointing. Maybe there's not that many of them out there, but yeah, XLRP, the preference is like $3 or $4 each now, and if you're getting you're going to get about 37-cent dividend every quarter. That's pretty handsome. Anyway, I'll try to keep talking about Camber Energy now. Anyway, cool. So to do XLRP and things. Oh no, if you can still buy it. They're openly traded, so you can still buy the stocks. And like, that's what I'm saying. If you were to buy them now, the yield is much better than the 6% that they were initially advertising them at, because that 6% is based on a $25 liquidation value. But that's $1.50-ish, or I can't do the maths off the top of my head right now, but it's about $1.50 dividend per year, and right now they're about what, $3.20, I think they are. So it's almost like a 30, 40, 50% dividend per year at the moment. I don't think there's any sort of conversion offering at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if they do another one, because they wanted to get 100 million Exela shares retired to make the XLRP preference shares. And in the first iteration, they only got, I think, 20 million, and then they got 45 million or something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they do try and do it again. The one thing that was really interesting about the XLRP preferences, after the day after the last iteration closed, and they sort of tell the market exactly how many shares had been retired, they then announced this $250 million equity raising vehicle that they had, and it's like, is this how they're going to pay the dividends? But I think they've got plenty of cash going through them right now. Am I going to attend? Oh, I won't be attending. I live pretty far away. I do listen to the conference calls and what they call the investor calls and stuff, but usually retrospectively, because I'm actually in Australia, so it's a bit of a time difference. Oh, it's never fun. But longer term, the plan is to actually do a proper buyback. So we'll see. I think with this video I might tag it. Yeah, we're talking Exela, like we have an Exela technology segue here, but no, that's all good. I think that was the most popular stock I covered apparently when I did my little poll the other day. But I think about 6 out of 11 votes before I don't know. Anyway, I'll have to look into it. All right, yeah, cool. Yeah. Oh, look, just to close off with Exela, so with Camber Energy anyway, is I think the oh, cool. Oh, good. So yeah, almost finished with the Camber stuff. I just wanted to make one last little point. Like I think I was already making it anyway. I'll finish that, then I'll talk Exela and anything else you want to talk about after that. But yeah, so the point I guess I was trying to make with Camber is that it's kind of it's a high risk, high return play. That if someone is to if one of their green initiatives is to take off, then they will probably that's when it's going to become a really hot ticket play again, and particularly because it does have a lot of retail interest. It's a very small market cap company. What's the market cap on it? It's there it is 225 million. So it's not very big for an oil company. It's not tiny, but it's definitely not a big oil company, that's for sure. Anyway, yeah. So I think that any sort of turn that Camber Energy is going to experience is going to be based on like one of these green initiatives coming through. To be honest, even though the oil prices are going up, their oil business doesn't do that well. They usually lose a bit of money, but anyway, so that's the main thing anyway. All right, so I'll close off Camber Energy. Is it back to Exela? There you go. So is there any other questions or anything you want to talk about with Exela, or my one person who seems to be listening? I wonder if I'm trying to work out if there's a way that I can have all of the chat on. Just on this session. Yeah, not sure what's going on there. Anyway, that's I guess more or less my live stream. I might leave it at that. XLR has. Oh yeah, you can mail in your votes. The good thing about the preference shares is you still have voting rights. You get 20 every preference shares with 20 votes, because they wanted to make sure, and that was one thing that wasn't very clear when they first offered the preference shares, was that were you losing voting rights? Because a lot of preference shares, actually sometimes you don't get any voting rights at all. It's just a vehicle for holding equity, but sometimes you get preference shares which are you have more votes, like you get at Alphabet or Google. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be. I really don't know how the votes are going to go. The board have like real issues in the sense that I don't know how long have you held Exela shares for? Just out of curiosity, just if you. My brokerage service gives me free access to Thomson Reuters and what's the other one called? Refinitive, which is like a sub company of theirs, and they're I guess pretty good sort of news services. I think that you can access a lot of Reuters for free, but I get it through my brokerage, which is like really detailed and like it's very live and up to date. Oh, I got it in July last year. Well, if you wanted to average out your holding value, you could buy it really cheap now. Like the factor is like 15, 14, 15, or 16 cents, I think, but it was like 14 cents the aftermarket. I was thinking of like buying more, just to like bring down the average cost. I still have a few regular Exela shares, but I converted most of what I had to the preference shares. But yeah, the one thing I was going to say about the voting was that in I think December last year, they had some problem where they actually did not have enough voting power at a board meeting to actually approve any changes. They had to delay the meeting. It's like, yeah, I think that's part of the reason, like because there's a lot of retail investors, and a lot of retail investors don't really take part in the votes and stuff like that. So I think it's a company that while it does have has actually a few really big, I guess, major shareholders, but a lot of it's share base is dispersed among a lot of small people, so it's very fragmented. Yeah, it's too late to convert it now. They might do another offering again, but don't see it coming in time. I wouldn't be surprised if they do one more offering. But I think their big thing that they want to do now is that they've got plans to sell off about $200 million worth of assets, which is pretty crazy. Like Exela, they have a market cap of about 75 million, but on their books they hold about 1.2 billion. Yeah, Parchar's got like a lot of. He's pretty. The good thing about him is he's got a lot of skin in the game, so he's really trying to do the right thing. Like with the XELA technologies, he did also with the preference shares. He took up a lot of them too. So I think he gave up something like 20% of his holding or something that for the preference shares. But you didn't lose your voting rights, which is like the best thing, I suppose. Yeah, it's kind of I don't know if I can normally see like a live chat on the side or anything like that. It's weird. I only see like a comment flash up, and I don't know if I don't see it, it just sort of disappears. So I can't. Yeah. Anyway, all right, cool. Yeah. Anyway, this is a new thing, trying a live stream. The two people who joined it, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll do Roadblocks. I've never really looked into it. I know it's really popular for. It always comes up like the top of like the most talked about stocks and stuff. But yeah, I've never like really looked into it. What's the angle with it's Roadblocks, isn't it? That's what it is. What's the big angle there that people like? Is that a short squeeze as well? That one. Oh, Roblox. I keep saying Roadblocks. Sorry. It's news about the new meeting. I know there's a way that I can see the chat. Like, it's got a high short interest. Yeah. Yeah. Where is it now? I'll look it up. I've got the stock now. Let's have a look. Last. This is. Yeah. It's kind of like. It's interesting. I'm looking at the Roblox share price. It's kind of been on a bit of a trend down, like long term anyway, but yeah, moves up quite a bit. 900%. 400%. Yeah, no, that'd be. So you can go another 400%. That's pretty. What's it? So it hit a peak. What's that? Hit a 52-week high at $141. Oh wow, yeah. You could go if you could recapture that sort of magic. But do you think the market will like kind of support that now? Everyone's kind of running a bit scared right now. The sort of short squeeze plays and stuff are, kind of you don't see it as much now, but they're a big company too at 16 billion market cap. Like that's hard to push. That's going to be hard to push that up really high. There's just so many shares in circulation there. I don't know. Yeah, it's not one I always see people talk about Roblox, but I've just never. Oh, I don't know if you get that's my little baby next door. Better not keep it too long. Yeah, but yeah, Roblox isn't one that I haven't looked at before. I have a look into it. I don't mind doing a video on it and having a look at it. Maybe it's one to cover in the future. I'm always looking for new things to sort of talk about on the channel. Yeah. Anyway, baby's starting to go off a little bit there, but I might leave it at that. So thanks for everyone who sort of joined into my first ever live stream. Hopefully if I do another one, I'll work out how to get the mechanics so I can actually see the comments stay on the screen, which is kind of weird. Anyway, until next time, everyone, may the markets trade in your favor. If I ever got a t-shirt made, that's what I'd say on it. May the markets trade in your favor. Cheers.